Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/askreddit, where OP shares his amazing story of revenge for us to enjoy. Let's begin. I caught my girlfriend cheating and got revenge on Valentine's Day. Posted by Reddit user Rocky Balboa's son.
Hard for me to share this, but thank Christ this is anonymous. I've been with this girl for 5 years, through most of college. We're both 25 years old. We lost our virginity to each other. We've talked about marriage. Even having kids someday. I've had my chances, but never cheated on her. Seriously. A couple of close calls, but I never pulled the trigger, and I'm very proud of it. Last weekend, a friend of mine rented a lake house for his bachelor party, so I was gonna be out of town doing the guy thing. The lake is about 40 minutes outside of the city, so I wouldn't be far. While me and the guys were partying at the lake house, my phone went off. It was my girlfriend's number, and I answered it only to hear giggling, flirty talk and kissing noises. Listening closely, I knew it was her voice talking to some guy. She had pocket called me by mistake and didn't realize the phone was on. I was shaking, but listened until the phone cut off for whatever reason. It was the worst feeling, like my legs went all rubbery, and I told my friend at the party what just happened. Pretty soon, all the guys rallied around me telling me to call the bitch and confront her. One of them said, if I called her, she'd just deny it and make up a lie. I also agreed and felt I should do it in person. Since I was drunk, my buddy drove me to her apartment and her car was there, lights were on, so I knew she had some guy over at her place. I admit that I became a creeper and looked in through one of the windows. I hope none of you ever go through what I felt in that moment because it is worse than dying. I could clearly see that she was giving this douchebag a blowjob. I won't go into it, but I was too shocked and sick to do anything at the time, so I got back into the car and we drove back to the lake house. The rest of the weekend, I was just physically ill and ruined the vibe at the party. I haven't said anything to her yet because after the shock came the anger. It's wrong, but the next time I saw her, I secretly went through her phone and found text messages. The guy's name is Theo and apparently all they're about is the sex. There weren't any phone calls from this guy. It seems like they just talked through TXTs, which is weird. Every single text message was sexual in nature, stuff she never said or even did with me. Long story short, I'm angry, my life is fucking ruined, and she has the nerve to ask me what's wrong with me lately. It's been hard not to just come out and expose her, but I wanted to clearly think it through before throwing away the past 5 years of my life with this person. Except I can't think clearly. I'm mad, and all I can think about is getting revenge and hurting her in the same way. This is lame, but Reddit, what the hell should I do? A part of me wants to be above getting revenge, but at the same time, I want to hurt her the same way she hurt me. I really don't think I can spend my life with someone who lied and betrayed, especially not after seeing her with another guy. At this point, nothing matters or makes sense, and I've been humiliated in front of everyone, and she doesn't even know it yet. I can't be with her anymore, but I want her to pay some kind of price. I don't care how much more embarrassing it gets for me. I want some kind of revenge and I know I am in the right.
Oh shit, my dude. You actually saw her in the act with another man. I'm really sorry. I can only imagine the heartbreak that you're going through. As for your revenge, all I can recommend is always go nuclear. Try to ruin her life, career, reputation, and personal relationships, especially if this will help you heal and move on. So, I am very excited to hear your update on what revenge path you've chosen. In fact, let's listen to it right now.
Here's what happened as best as I can remember. I decided that Valentine's Day was the perfect day to go through with it, but since I'd caught her cheating last week, I hadn't thought to get reservations anywhere. Thanks to a fellow Redditor, I managed to get a spot for us at a really nice restaurant by the lake. I live in Austin. I told my girlfriend that I'd come over to her apartment before we went out and make some drinks while she got ready. I had already packed all of her stuff from my own apartment, including the expensive face cream she keeps, and yeah, I jerked off into it, so she'll be wearing my facial every day for months. It was an idea inspired by one of the comments here. I put all of her crap in a travel bag and drove over to her apartment. I left the bag in the car and went in. She busted out some glasses and bottles of liquor for me to make drinks and then got in the shower. While she was in there, I grabbed the bag from my car and put it in her closet. I also hid a 3-pack of condoms in the bag, but only left 2 rubbers in it. She'll probably find them, think I left them accidentally and always wonder if I cheated on her. We lost our virginity to each other and never used condoms. She was still in the shower during this time, and I grabbed her cell phone and deleted myself from it. I also looked up Theo in her contacts and changed his phone number to mine for later. After that, I made her a vodka Sprite and spit in it a few times. I had a big shot of vodka and waited for her, and when she was dressed, we had our drinks. I hate to admit it, but she looked really good, so I talked her into giving me some oral as a warm-up for tonight. A lot of the comments told me I should tap it one last time, and I agreed. I made her gag accidentally a few times, right in the same spot I'd seen her blowing the other guy. When I was done, I told her that my car was acting funny, so we should take hers instead. I drove us to the restaurant. This was the part of the date that was supposed to be perfect. We had dinner and wine, and I went out of my way to make everything seem normal, giving her the perfect Valentine's dinner. We talked about vacations we'd taken together and how we'd like to go back. I brought up old memories and made her laugh. I asked her where she wanted to be in 5 years, and she said hopefully married by then. It was hard at times, but I was already committed to finishing it. We were done eating, so I excused myself to the bathroom to wash my hands. From there, I made a call to my best friend and told him to pick me up in half an hour. That's all the time I was ever going to give the heartless bitch again. I came out of the bathroom and paid the bill, give me some credit for being a gentleman still, and suggested we take a walk along the lake. Thanks again to the Redditor, because this turned out to be perfect. There was a little dock nearby, and we stood on it, and my hands were shaking, but I finally called her out. I asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell me. She looked confused and played it off very well. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I probably would have believed her. I let her lie to me and then told her that I knew about Theo, that she'd accidentally called me, and I'd caught them fucking around. I told her I'd found him on Facebook and seen his fucking bragging updates. While I was telling her this, she started bawling, and I've gotta admit that I was crying a little too. But I kept going and told her how much she'd hurt me and that I'd been throwing up all week and sick about it. The only thing she kept saying was that she was sorry. The rest of the time she was crying and almost hyperventilating. She would try to interrupt, but I kept telling her to let me finish. I wasn't too sure if I was gonna do this part of the plan, but I had nothing else to lose, so I said fuck it. I told her that I honestly believed she was the girl I was going to spend the rest of my life with, which was true, and pulled out a jewelry ring box from my coat. I'd gotten it the day before for about $15 in the same gas station as the condoms. I didn't open the box because the ring looked totally cheap, but I told my girlfriend I'd had it for a while but wasn't going to need it anymore. I threw the box into the lake and it totally looked real because of the tears in my eyes. She hadn't stopped crying this whole time and was pulling at me and begging me to listen to her and let her talk over and over again. I don't know how else to describe it. She was having a total freakout and I decided it was the perfect time to walk away. I told her there was nothing to talk about and nothing she could say. I never wanted to see her again or talk to her. I told her that I'd left a bag of her stuff in her closet and if she left anything else, to have a friend come get it. I even mentioned that I'd noticed a bump on me and was going to the doctor this week and suggested she do the same. I made it clear that this was the last time we would ever talk to each other and then gave her the keys to her car back and said goodbye. She tried to hug me and kept saying forgive me, but I knew better and backed off. I walked away and left her there at the dock. My friend was waiting outside the restaurant and I got in the car with him and went to pick up my car back at her place. While we were on the way, I followed through with the last part of my plan. I sent her a text message, which she would now think was from Theo since I'd switched numbers. It said, WTF, your boyfriend emailed me and knows about us. I don't want this drama, don't call or text me again. Seriously. She still hasn't written back. Yeah, she'll eventually figure it out and think I'm immature, but I honestly don't give a shit anymore. The person who suggested the text message plan was right. It's like she got dumped twice on Valentine's Day, and you can't say she doesn't deserve it. So there it is. I did it and actually feel relieved, but a little in shock now. This has literally been the worst week of my life, and I'm not sure how I'll handle it. But I'm glad that I reached out, even if it was to strangers. I can't thank you enough for the majority of you out there being helpful and understanding. And if all this makes me a dick, I'm prepared to live with it. At least I did something and didn't just get trampled and pitied.
OP, this is a fucking masterpiece. Seriously, your story doesn't belong in askreddit. It deserves a spot in ProRevenge. The meticulous planning, preparations, and the seamless execution of your revenge, this is absolute gold, my friend. Making her believe that you were gonna propose to her, then throwing an empty ring box right in front of her own eyes, and then breaking her heart twice on Valentine's Day. That is just the two perfect cherries on top of this beautiful revenge Sunday. Let's get one thing straight, OP. You're not a dick. You're a fucking legend. A fucking legend, my friend. Absolutely well done. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.